Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm using acrylics again and I'm painting geraniums. They are a lovely flower to paint. You can get all kinds of reds and pinks into geraniums, and I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, please remember to give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. That helps my channel grow and I'd really appreciate that. And thank you very much for watching. Here's my palette of acrylic paints, and I'm using titanium white, cadmium yellow light, raw sienna, raw umber, French ultramarine blue, sap green and alizarin crimson. I'm using a 1/2 inch flat and I'm going to paint the background. I'll start off with cad yellow light and I'll add French ultramarine blue, sap green, probably some raw umber and maybe some alizarin crimson. And basically it's almost everything on my palette. I'm using a crisscross stroke to apply the paint, and I will add titanium white over all, and that will make the paint more opaque. And I'll use a powder brush to blend the colours together. You will still see some brush strokes in the background, but that's all right. This is a regular makeup brush, but it's lovely and fluffy and round, and it does a really good job of blending, I find. Sometimes I buy them from the dollar store. They're $1 each and they work really well. And I haven't had to trim any of the brushes yet, so I can't tell you about that. But they are only $1 for the most part. I think this one was a little more expensive. I got it in a set. But yeah, I think it does a really good job of blending. Now I'm going to use this rigger or liner brush, which I've dipped in some water, and I'm going to dip it in the raw sienna and use it to sketch the outline of my geraniums. I usually just sketch in the stems and paint in the tops of the geraniums as I go, but I wanted to show you a little more how geraniums look when they haven't got a flower on them. I've made that stem too thick. I've just wiped it out with paper towel, and that doesn't really matter. Most of that will be covered with the actual blossom. You won't see that white line when I've finished. You won't see any of these little stems in the finished painting. I'm just putting them on so you can see the sort of shape that geraniums are. They have these hanging buds that come out and sort of spring up a little bit, and the head of the flower is multi-florets forming a ball. That's how I see geraniums. Sometimes they're not completely round, I'll give you. I'll sketch in the leaves a little bit just to show you where I would put them. Quite often I don't do a sketch. I've been painting for many years, and I sort of know these flowers off by heart now. I've really got to buy a new filbert brush. I like to use filberts for the petals. It's got a usually nice rounded edge. Mine hasn't, it's a bit tatty on the end, but it'll still make a nice petal. And I'm going to quickly sketch in all the petals, including the downward hanging petals, the buds rather, and don't worry that they're almost transparent, because there'll be a lot more color, a lot more paint going on to these. When I'm making petals, or leaves come to that, I draw the brush in from the outer edge of the leaf or petal, pull it towards the center. I'm mixing sap green and cad yellow light for my leaves. Now the leaves, when you look at them, are almost heart-shaped, a little more rounded than heart-shaped, but they have that sort of little dip where it meets the stem. So I sort of do a rounded heart for my leaves. Now I've added 3 more types of red, actually a pink and magenta and a, what's the other one? Cad red light for my brightest red. I think cad red light is my favorite geranium color. They look so vibrant when you use that paint. And I'll use the alizarin crimson again for the shadow, and maybe the magenta as well. I want my flowers to look as though they have some sort of volume, so I decide where my light is shining from, and which is my light side where I'll put my highlights, and which is my shadow side where I'll put my darkest paint. I've decided that the light is coming from the right of the canvas, so all my darks will be on the left of the geranium blossoms. I'm mixing in some pink and some cad red light for my highlight colour, and I like to get as much colour as I can into any of the flowers that I paint. And if I make a mistake and put something where I feel it's wrong or it looks wrong, I just go over it. I don't worry too much about it. I just paint another color on top. And with acrylics, that's especially easy. If you really hate something in an acrylic painting, you can always put gesso over the top of it and start all over again. But I find it's just as easy with something like this, just to paint it out and put something else in on top. I'm using this 1/2 inch flat and I'm mixing sap green with cad yellow light, and I'm going to work on my leaves. I'm drawing the stroke in from the outer edge toward the center, and I'm using quite a pale color, but leaves too will have a shadow and a highlight, so but this is a good base. Actually, I meant to say it was sap green with a little cad yellow in it, but mostly titanium white to brighten it for my highlight. I use the edge of my brush to draw in stems. It's a bad habit I've got into. I really should be using a rigger liner brush to do that part, but somehow I never do. You know, you sometimes see that line of brown splodges on geranium leaves. Well, I put them in here, and then I decided I'd done it at the wrong time. So I'm showing you how I do it, but these don't stay because I decide to put my highlights and shadows in. So I have to do it all over again. I have to say that I'm not a highly detailed painter. I don't mind if things look a bit rough, to be honest. I think it looks very painterly somehow. I like to see a lot of sticky paint on the canvas, and I don't want to refine it too much, I guess that's the word. I just don't care for a lot of detail. I do like things to look as they are supposed to look. I'm using a Q-tip here to put in the center of the leaf, or actually the part where the leaf joins the stem. I guess that's pretty detailed. I might be more detailed than I thought. I decided there should be more flowers on this shrub, and I've put them at the base of the painting. I think it looks a little bit better like that. For these lower flowers, I'm really just splodging in petals. I'm not doing detailed florets. It's just a few petals to suggest the geraniums rather than define them. One thing I did do after I turned my camera off was use a Q-tip to put in the centers of the florets. Now I only did 2 or 3 per flower, and I think that's enough. I don't dot everywhere, and I use sap green and cad yellow light for the mixture. Well, that's it for painting acrylic geraniums. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember to give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel grow, and I'd really appreciate that if you could do it. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.